Welcome to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel. We're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. We have a full show tonight. I'm glad you're with us. We're going to start off talking with a group called Foster Club. Foster Club is headquartered in Seaside, Oregon, but we have kids from all over the country here this summer to participate in their all-star internship program. So to talk about Foster Club today, we have Paulette Castro. Welcome. Nice to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
And Tiaja Henderson.
Hello.
It's so nice to have you here. So ladies, you are level 2 all-star interns. What's the difference between a level 2 and a level 1? And what are you doing here?
Well, as a level 2, what we're here is that we were an all-star at first. I served 2013 and Paulette served in 2011. And we're just giving back to the organization that fed us. So being able to just be able to be their coach for the All-Stars, we've been through this process. Nice. We know what it looks like.
So tell me, the Foster Club, tell me what it's about. Obviously, it's for kids that have come out of the foster care system, right? Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit of the history, if you would.
Sure. So Foster Club is the national network for young people in foster care. It started in 1989 when our ED, Celeste Bodner, was a foster parent. And so she was fostering two young boys and realized that there was no real resources out there for her as a foster parent. And so what she did was she did her own research. She started the website, which essentially started Foster Club, was the website, so fosterclub.org. And so she just created a base to where people could get resources for youth that are in the system, but also for foster parents and professionals that work in the field.
So kind of a support group online.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Okay, but it's grown from there, right?
Oh yeah.
So tell me, it's national now, correct?
Yes.
How many states? Do you have any idea how many states?
Oh, they cover a lot of states. I know that just in my time with Foster Club the last few years, it's actually expanded. So they actually have staff now in Washington, D.C. working on the Hill, and then they also have an office down in Southern California working on initiatives in California.
Tell me a little bit about what the mission is of Foster Club. What is the main purpose? It's not just support anymore, correct?
Yes.
No, it's not just support. We do so much. We just help the youth from a peer-to-peer perspective as well, help them connect. We inspire the youth, and when we go out to events, we also just educate them on resources. What's happening in your state? Did you know this is going on? Bill of Rights, other things like that. So we know how it is, and so we just feeding them, educating them, inspiring them, empowering them. Sometimes you just need someone to say, hey, you're doing good, I'm proud of you, and keep going.
Everybody needs that.
Yep.
Now I imagine because you did come out of the foster care system, you have a lot more credibility than somebody else would. Yeah. Yeah. And do you feel a real need when you're out there in the community and you're talking to kids that are in the system? Do you really feel that need, that they need to hear that?
Oh, definitely. I know that when I was growing up in care, I had no network, no support system, and so I thought I was alone. I was in care for 14 years, and so you can imagine through those 14 years, not having a support system, not knowing any of your peers that had gone through the same issues and could relate to you, aside from those that you were in homes with. So I think when I came to Foster Club, it was the first time my eyes were opened that there was a network of people all over the nation, even in other countries. Mm-hmm.
And is it in other countries now too?
Well, I mean, there's foster care systems. Exactly. Right. And so just comparing it and learning about it, just getting empowered about your rights and the changes you can make with just our stories alone. It's a really powerful just organization. Yeah. It's breathed a lot of air and life into the both of us, but we see the way it makes so much change. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Now, before we go too far, I want to welcome some other guests that you brought with
Yes.
you today, because not only are you here visiting us today, but we actually have the All-Stars from all over the country. So maybe we could just turn the camera on our studio audience here. If we could. Why don't you turn around and wave to the camera? Hey! So these are All-Stars from, let's see, we have Michigan, we have Las Vegas, Nevada, we have Vermont.
Montana, got New York.
Well, who'd I miss? you can speak up. Who'd I miss? Minnesota.
Got a few.
So they're from all over the country, and so they're all here for the summer internship with the All-Stars. So you guys are All-Stars, which is pretty cool. Tell me about the program. What do they do, or what do you do when you're here at Seaside for the summer?
So it starts off with an intensive leadership training. So it goes on for a few weeks, and then after we feel that their tools are built up, we send them out. So we send them on different conferences, different camps, and pretty much what they do is they really connect with not just young people that are in care, but youth that are aging out of care, professionals, foster parents. There's also the possibility to, go to Washington, D.C. or speak at local events just to make changes to the actual system.
So you do advocacy work.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So not just personal, but also legal as well.
Yeah. Making changes in the system, and you got to start somewhere, right?
Yes.
So how long is the internship program?
It's for 7 weeks. So we pick them up from the airport, and they live in a house together. They work together, and they go to different conferences and events, like Paulette was saying, and they kind of become like a family.
I bet you break down a lot of barriers.
Though the internship only lasts for 7 weeks, they are part of a network. So essentially, some of the people I interned with my year, I'm best friends with today, and so even with my relationship with her, it'll go on for years, and that's wonderful. That's the type of network that this organization holds.
So what do you think is the most important thing that you got out of being an intern, being an All-Star? What did you gain personally from that?
I mean, personally, coming into the system later, at 17, I had my world flipped. So kind of Foster Club just presented me a way to be able to still be myself, but be able to go around people that really wanted to hear from me. I never thought that someone wanted to hear from me. So
it's a good feeling when they do, isn't it?
They gave me a platform. So I stood on the stage, and I did exactly what Foster Club always put into me. It's just be yourself, love yourself, be humble, and give back.
And you're making a change. You're making a change. You're making the world a better place by doing that. So when the interns and the All-Stars, they leave this program, they go back to their own home states, then what?
So the hopes are always to implement what you've learned at your time in Oregon in your own home state. And then we also have a lot of initiatives just in Oregon. So, I mean, we run like the teen conferences, a lot of the life skills training. And Oregon has a really good system. The workers, they mesh really well with Foster Club, and so they work really well together.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, no, it's good to hear, especially in you would think, in your own state, you would want more, and so that's essentially why we represent such a vast variety of the states, and then we go back and we try to implement change in our own states.
And so where are you two from?
California.
And I'm from Missouri.
Missouri, okay. So you did you go back then and do that when and what kinds of things did you do?
Well, for me, I just got plugged into the local or national organizations around me. What can I do? Get me busy. What can I put my hands on? So using what I went to school for, trying to start some things up with the school of having activities that were just mainly focused on youth trying to better themselves while they're in college, having that support system.
Wow. What about you?
Well, we expanded Foster Club to California, so I got to help in the process, and then we also got to select youth ambassadors that are helping change the education outcomes for young people in foster care.
It's gotta feel really good to be able to make a change, especially so young. You think of that as something you do when you're a little older. You mentioned your founder, Celeste. There was something new in the news recently. And I saw you at this magazine, so I had to ask you about this. So tell our group here about what's going on with More Magazine.
So the awesome thing about More Magazine that's actually still on stands right now is our executive director, Celeste.
So this is the July/August 2015 issue.
So it's still out.
Yeah, okay.
So she got featured. I think the most important thing of just her being in this magazine is just to highlight the I mean, the importance of how the organization, like how important it's become. I mean, it's national, and even just within this last year, we had young leaders be recognized in the White House for their outstanding achievements, and a lot of them were Foster Club alumni. So it's.
So here's a picture of Celeste Bodner.
Yes.
And this is, I mean, full page here. That's a pretty big deal in More Magazine. And the whole article about her founding this organization and her work.
Inspirational women.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So that's one of the few organizations that are featured in here. So this is all about organizations and people that have made an impact.
Yes.
So that's what you're doing now.
Oh.
So the leadership training, do you really feel it's changed you?
Oh.
Daily. Patience, understanding.
Compassion.
Definitely. Oh my goodness, yes.
You talked about some that you do events once in a while, and I think we had some pictures, a few pictures from some events that you were at or that you were part of. So maybe we can take a look at those, and you can tell me what we're seeing, because I'd like to know what kind of events what do you do?
Yeah.
So, okay, now this is a group photo here.
Yes, that's actually, we try to get all 24 of the interns from this summer. So we split them into 2 groups because we can't possibly house 24 at once, but that's the large majority of the group.
Great. Nice variety pack there.
Oh yeah, that is, we had a nurse come in, so she gave her time, she gave her heart, she gave her a talent that she had, and she helped us figure out who we were, and it's our legendary self. I personally love that one because I never thought I could see something in a picture or even paint. So she gave her time and her energy with that, and lovely.
Great
Awesome.
pictures.
Yeah,
Lovely.
that was
I love
pretty
that.
awesome.
How fun.
This is a CASA event down in Roseburg, Oregon,
Yes.
and we got to work with their CASA down there. And so CASA is court-appointed special advocates, and it's just an example of a way to volunteer in the foster care system.
And there's probably a lot of opportunities.
Oh, yeah,
people
there's
don't even know
definitely.
about.
Oh yeah, that's in Oregon. That was Oregon teen, and that was at the camp, and a lot of the youth, foster care youth that are in Oregon went to this, and they still talk about it. They're still wearing their shirts. They loved it. And that's just part of another thing that just as a state you can just get yourself involved in, volunteer, get some service in or anything, just figure out what they need.
This is a good example of other volunteers. The
Yes.
quilt makers out of the Metro Portland area, every summer they invest their time and labor into creating these quilts for our interns. And so it's really sweet. It's a group of.
What about if somebody out here was a quilt maker and wanted to become involved and help do that? How would they get involved?
So the first thing I would recommend is to go on the website, fosterclub.org, and it's just, there's a tab on ways to get involved. So the first thing we really harp on, because we are a nonprofit, is we can always use funders, we can always use donations. But a second one is, if you don't have that option, there's plenty of other ways. You can mentor, you can, if you quilt, if you're an artist, you can volunteer those services. There's a variety of different ways.
Just check it out.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, then just email
Or
or
you
call
can
and
even
ask.
just send in a gas card. We travel, we drive
yeah.
everywhere.
We drive an industrial size
all the
van.
way out here.
Long drive,
Yeah.
so
There's-
even that helps.
There's plenty of different ways to get involved, and sometimes it's as simple as just being present in a young person's life.
Or just even call and say, hey, I love what you're doing, keep doing it. Motivation.
Yes.
That's nice too. That's nice. It's
nice.
important. What about can you donate a vehicle? If I have an old car or something, do you do that?
There's possibilities for that. Yeah.
I don't see why not.
I was heard.
It doesn't
I
hurt
heard
to
that you
ask.
guys do that now, so I don't know. Well, if people are interested then in donating their time, their money, if they just want to say, give them an attaboy or an attagirl, go ahead and go to the website and check it out and get all the information there. And if people are interested in helping out in other ways, if they want to go to an event or maybe help sponsor an event, or if a corporation wants to become involved, again, go to the website.
Yeah, we have all the contact information, so you can reach out to the right people.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much. Any last words before I let you go? Because you're the best and the brightest here. I love it. I really appreciate you being here, and thank you to all of you here from Foster Club. It's great to have you here today. It was really fun. We had a
And
good
we
time.
appreciate you taking the time out, and we appreciate everyone watching. We really love what we do, and we encourage you to do the same.
And if you don't know about what it's like to be a foster kid,
Here it
and
is.
have somebody come out and do a talk for you. Okay, thanks very much. Thanks for watching this first segment of Community Hotline. We'll be right back in just a few minutes, so don't go away.
my documentary was more than I ever would have dreamed of doing.
This is a community media station.
It was phenomenal.
Ready, camera, one.
What is it about this place that makes so many different people come together?
Ready, camera, two.
Very professional, experienced people.
You can use these industry standard pieces of equipment.
Ready, camera, three. Take three.
You don't have to be rich to do this.
Open people's eyes to something they've never even thought of before.
Cool stuff happens. It becomes this community.
That's going to really change who's telling the stories and who's controlling the messaging.
We love Gresham and we love fun, so we're putting the two together for the 93 days of summer. Experience our trails, parks, and places to ride bikes. Every day starting June 21st, we'll be posting all of the fun and exciting things to do in Gresham to our Facebook page. Delight in our farmers market. Enjoy our outdoor music and community events. Go ahead and grab your sunscreen and get ready to spend the 93 days of summer in Gresham. Follow us on Facebook for our daily summer fun forecast.
Back to Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel, and now we're going to be talking about an organization called World Venture. I'm talking with Adrienne Livingston. Thanks for being here, Adrienne.
Thanks for inviting me.
It's nice to have you. You were on here a long time ago
I was.
in a different venture that you were working on, but
yeah.
You've moved on to being Director of Anti-Sex Trafficking Initiative for World Venture.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
Yes, it is.
Well, and congratulations, but you are
Thank you.
right? You are developing this whole program for World Venture.
Yes, it's a new program for World
Yeah.
Venture, and so I'm helping to create their strategy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, could you give us a little background on what World Venture is? I mean, you have your hands in so many pots and are doing so many things that's sort of overwhelming. But tell me a little bit, if you can, just an overview.
Yeah, World Venture, we've been around since 1943. Our headquarters is out of Littleton, Colorado. And really it's to help really bring love and hope to the world that's hurting and those that are oppressed. So we have 500 missionaries serving in 63 different countries, including the United States, and we've had, you know, part of us have been humanitarian, we have church planners. For myself, we're just starting kind of this whole new initiative is how do you have people that have more to give in other areas, such as social justice, and how can we help impact those individuals that have been oppressed and without hope.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people all the world over in that situation. I know I was looking at your website and you had all these different ministries. Is the social justice one a new one for World Venture? Has that always been one of their ministries?
It is a new one. We actually are looking at media and arts, government, obviously this social justice, looking at, even public health, and where do we help in those areas, because we all have a role to play in a lot of these different areas, and just how can we help those that have been uniquely created with their experiences, their upbringing, their background, and just their strengths and how they can participate in reaching the world.
So it's a faith-based organization. Are you always looking for more people to volunteer, and do they have to be of a particular faith? Can anybody volunteer that has an interest in helping?
We're looking for volunteers. We're looking for individuals that even want to come on board as far as being missionaries. It is a Christian mission organization, and professing the name of Christ, and looking for individuals even that are interested in doing internships, especially for students that are graduating from seminaries or Bible colleges. Whether it's an internship, we have what's called Journey Corps, which is very much similar to Peace Corps, but going into missions fields.
I imagine that those internships are very eye-opening for some people.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Did you do that kind of thing, or did you go on missions?
You know, my background, I went to Oregon State University. I majored in business and international business and marketing, and I ended up just traveling, doing study abroad. So that in and of itself opened up my eyes.
I'm sure.
Right, and then afterwards I did do some short-term teams. I did go with Village Baptist Church, which is my current church right now. It wasn't at the time, but in 2006 we went to Beirut, Lebanon. Oh, wow. And if you remember 2006, that's when the war broke out. And in fact, we got back 2.5 days prior to the war breaking out, and I told you,
wow,
being over there during that time, no one could really tell, even the Lebanese, that anything was going on.
Really?
I've been to Oaxaca, Mexico. Not Oaxaca, that was a study abroad. So I went to Tijuana, Mexico on a short-term mission trip, as well as India on a short-term missions trip. So
pretty
they are all,
there.
and then they're all very wide open, and you know, just opens your eyes to what's going on in the world, and the hurting and the poverty that's going on. So yeah.
A lot of pain in the world.
A lot of pain.
The sex trafficking.
Yes.
I've talked to a lot of people and have found out that the I-5 corridor through Portland is really a hot spot, which is very upsetting. And I know there's a lot of people trying to work on it, but Portland it's like this much of the world. And it's a problem all over, isn't it?
It's a global epidemic, is what I like to say. It's everywhere where you have highway, you have, especially Portland and other places that have international airports, you have hotels, you have facilitators. So facilitators, those are different entities that allow it to happen, like hotels and
like
motels. Enablers,
yeah.
et cetera, you know, taxi drivers, anywhere that allows this type of business to go on. And so when you have that, you have freeways. In Portland, we have a lot of strip clubs, and not including even the massage parlors and all of that. But Portland actually has more strip clubs per capita than any place, including Las Vegas.
I have heard that.
So, and it's one that helps to facilitate it. Yeah.
So, if someone were, say, a taxi driver, and they got a fare that looked like it could be somebody who was a victim of sex trafficking, or they were with somebody that they got a bad feeling about it, are they legally bound to report that, or just morally bound to report that?
I wish they were legally bound to report that, but they're not mandatory reporters.
Yeah, that's what I was
wondering. I, being a girl strength instructor, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that, I'm a mandatory reporter, but they're not. It would be nice if they were moral and reported it that sense. But, you know, for example, you bring up taxis in that sense, as well as even hotels. Rotary, East Portland Rotary, we're trying to help, you know, educate hotels on, if you see something, this is what you do, or how can you help prevent it. I think the taxi companies, they could do the same, where they're getting educated about, if you see it, what do you do, but then also, how do you prevent it from happening in your establishment, and, you know, with the driving back and forth, et cetera. So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so because we only have a short amount of time, what is the biggest, most important thing that you would like to convey today that you think is important that the public know that they might not know about?
Right. It's a huge problem, but I also think that at this point in time, it seems to be a groundswell of many people that are doing the work. I just kind of wanted to list what even Multnomah County is doing.
That would be great.
There's the Commercial Sexual Exploitation of Children committee that is led by Diane McKill, Commissioner Diane McKill.
Yeah, she's from out in this area.
Yes. Yeah. And so who's on that work group? I'm just going to read the list.
Go for it.
We have Multnomah County Commissioner McKill. We have the Department of Community Justice with Multnomah County, the District Attorney's Office, the Sheriff's Office, the Department of Human County Services, the City of Portland Police Bureau, State of Oregon Department of Human Services, as well as the Department of Justice. We have the United States Attorney's General Office, the District of Oregon. We have the FBI, Janus Youth Program, Sexual Assault Resource Center, LifeWorks Northwest, and the NOW program, Youth Villages, CARES Northwest, Youth Rights and Justice, Morrison Child and Family Services. We have East Portland Rotary. We have the EPIC Project, Shared Hope International, Salvation Army, Door to Grace, and the Giving Connection. I want to read this list, and I didn't even include World Venture, but I'm one of the co-chairs of one of their work groups, which is the Victim Services Implementation Team. And I read this because it is such a huge issue. Anytime I've talked to people about it, it is overwhelming. It's like, what can we do? Oh, I'm depressed. There are people that are working on it, and we're looking for more people to help us in this fight. It is organized crime, and we need to be organized to combat it as well.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So if people are interested, they can go to worldventure.com.
Well, I would say not necessarily World Venture.
Go to one of the Salvation Army or Janus Youth Services or Morrison, one of those, and
so what my position is, to tell you a little bit more about that, is not that we're creating any new service, but what I saw and what World Venture saw is that there are many organizations such that I just read out there doing wonderful, amazing work. And when a person finds out about this issue, it's like, how do I connect? How do I engage? And when I was trying to engage prior to actually coming over to World Venture, I couldn't figure out how. And or it was to volunteer at an event, which is great, or to give money, which is completely needed, but I wanted to do more. And so I saw a gap of how do you help people connect. And I do understand from an organizational standpoint, the capacity to help connect volunteers, it's quite difficult at times. So for me, it was, how can I just help people get engaged? How can I help them
navigate that
exactly,
system
it's like a connector collaborator. So with World Venture, they said, great, we want to help connect our churches to this issue. So it's one, becoming aware of the issue, but then how do we help really to connect them and to prepare them? The fact is, these individuals that are coming, whether they're victims currently or even survivors, they have had a history of trauma, and therefore we need to know how to engage with them.
And I'm sure there's certain things you need to know before you're dealing with somebody who's been a victim of that kind of abuse.
Exactly. In fact, one organization that's doing something also, Abolition Now, which is through Compassion Connect, they too are, their desire is to help connect churches, and currently they will be doing, it's a mentor training on August 15th at Warner Pacific. So anyone that wants to learn to work with survivors or victims of commercial exploitation, they're doing a training there that day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So if a person is interested, they can definitely go to their website, compassionconnect.org or abolitionnow.org, to find out more.
I can see why there would be a huge need for your job, because I know of different organizations here and there that are working in these areas, but there isn't really one umbrella organization, to be able to, find your way through that.
Yes. So anyone can definitely email me, and I can send them the information that I have, and I think my information is probably up on the screen at some point.
Yeah, and if they missed it, they can call us here at MetroEast, and we'll put them in touch with you. So you had, you said this is a global issue. It's not just here.
Yes.
And you brought some pictures, I think.
Yes.
And so maybe we can bring those up on the screen. You can tell us what we're looking at.
Okay.
Because you have it. It's not just here.
It is not. In fact, it's 1.2 to 1.8 million kids that are commercially sex trafficked each year globally.
Oh, wow.
And the statistics are staggering, but it's also, because this issue is hard to capture actually all the statistics. So somewhere you might see 1.2, other places you might see 1.8 million kids, again, globally. And so this picture right here is in Beirut, Lebanon. It is a Syrian refugee camp. And the reason I brought this along is because the intersection between refugees and trafficking of any kind is huge, because this population is very vulnerable. Just imagine you have been uprooted from your home.
Sure.
You didn't want to leave. You've been uprooted from your family, your culture, your traditions, just your everyday way of living, to a place where you don't speak the language, you don't know, you don't have necessarily security. How are you going to make a living? And so you have predators that come in to give promises, the promises of a better
just what
living.
To say, don't they?
Same with the girls. I'm going to promise you marriage. I'm going to promise you love. The same with the refugees. It's just
they
the
know
promise
exactly
of
what's
something.
missing from those lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is Girl Strength. And what Girl Strength is through the City of Portland Police Bureau. In fact, I'm a Girl Strength instructor. We teach girls ages 10 to 17 verbal assertiveness and physical self-defense self-defense. It's a violence prevention program. The violence that has been happening against women, we want to help to prevent that more and more.
I encourage.
Yeah, and it's a free program. It's a free program. It's a free
Even
program.
better.
Yeah, and actually there's women's strength. So if women want to take it as well, it's 9-hour total. It's 3 hours a session for 3 weeks, once a week, and you learn physical self-defense. Again,
check
free.
that out.
Yes.
Okay.
And so this is Janobi Jules, also in Beirut, Lebanon. And this is an organization that works with women that have been marginalized or oppressed that could fall into, whether it's sex trafficking or something else. They're at risk. And they make handmade jewelry to sell to supplement income for their families. Because a lot of times what you'll see, especially in other countries, it can just be the economy that traffics or exploits the person because they don't have anything. Exactly.
Yeah. How sad that would be an option, and sometimes the only option. I think
that's
they
what
feel
they
like
believe.
they have. Yeah,
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, wow, it's a big deal.
It is.
What are your plans going forward as far as what are your goals for because I'm sure they have to be massive. I mean, this is a huge job.
Yes. So currently I'm putting together a strategic plan for World Ventures to how do we get engaged, and I'm looking at our structure. So we have a department that works with universities. So then how do we work together for those students that want to do missions and want to look at justice as an option? We also have our transformational ventures, which is business as missions. And for those individuals that want to do business and do that in a mission component, well, when you look at trafficking, exactly, that's a business. Exactly. So how do we connect them to that? Looking at, we have, again, I mentioned our Journey Corps program and our internship program. How do we connect to that? Also just the different organizations that are here, whether in Portland, and I will be looking globally, how do we partner with them? So I'm also on a committee that's called it's the Refugee Highway Project, which really focuses on refugees and looking at that intersection of refugees and sex trafficking, and how do we work together, network one another, and resource one another. So looking at all of that, and then also giving a voice, like you being here, giving a voice to many in the community to just really share what they're doing. I'm going to be doing a podcast and listening to stories, the people that have either been in the life or someone who is fighting it, how do we get more of those voices out there, and definitely connecting with churches.
We're just about out of time. Tell me real quick, what's the best thing to tell your children and grandchildren that you worry about? To
be aware. I believe, when you look at girls, confidence, the traffickers, predators really look at who has a lack of confidence and the vulnerabilities. But, I would say just love, but to be aware is the biggest thing for both parents and kids. It's not to make anyone fearful or afraid, but just the aspect of understanding what's going on, because our society, our culture is basically showing our young women and men, this over-sexualization and the violence against women is prevalent. We need to fight that and stop that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Adrienne.
Thank you.
You bet. And this is obviously a huge problem, but do check it out, find out more, educate yourself, and do help your kids and your grandkids, help them to be strong. Girl strength and women's strength, right? And,
there's boy strength?
And boy strength too. So do check it out, and don't go away. We'll be right back with more on Community Hotline.
Local government is a very important part of our daily lives. You might think the decisions that affect us most are made in Washington, D.C., but frequently what happens at the local level has the biggest impact. Safe and clean streets and parks, local ballot measures to ensure funding for police. These are just a few of the issues that matter most. At MetroEast, we provide gavel-to-gavel coverage of local government so you can see what's happening in your East County cities. Watch city councils, planning commissions, and school boards on these cable channels or online.
You're lucky enough to be watching the channels at MetroEast Community Media.
I never felt all that special. But in the wake of an earthquake, we can all do something. When donating goods, it's hard to know what's needed. So now it's my turn to help. Aid workers can spend me locally, where I can help save lives. Someone is doing better because of me. Together, we made that happen.
What local community media is to us is literally our lifeline to what's going on in the lives around us.
The absolute most important thing that happens in your neighborhood.
People's local communities are usually what's most important to them.
Because we're the faces, the smiles, the peoples, and the personalities of the community.
To not only give people a voice, but to have their voice heard.
Have you ever wanted to create a TV show of your own? Come check out the basic editing class at MetroEast. Our trainers will give you the skills you need to flex your creative muscles. Using our state-of-the-art IMAX and Final Cut Pro 10, you can work with your own videos, add graphics and music, and even drop in cool special effects like green screen and slow motion. The best part? No experience is required. All ages and skill levels are welcome. Find out more on our website at metroeast.org.
Domestic violence can affect all people, regardless of race, gender, age, or economic status. If you or someone you know is living with domestic violence in Clackamas County, there is help. Call Los Niños Cuentan.
It's time to address a few facts about the state of Oregon. It's common knowledge that Portland is ranked among the most creative and innovative workforces in the country, and Portland ranks second among all U.S. cities in volunteer hours. But here's something you may not know.
Oregon has the 4th worst graduation rate in the nation.
But together, we can change that.
Big Brothers Big Sisters has a solution.
We know that children succeed when they feel loved, safe, and connected.
So we need meaningful relationships outside the classroom.
To close the achievement gap, we must first close the relationship gap.
Together, we can. Graduation is a big deal.
By supporting Big Brothers Big Sisters, you can help our children find the meaningful relationships they need to finish high school strong.
My favorite thing about community media is how people find their voice and tell their story.
It's the message of, by, and for a community.
We're a gathering place because it gets people of all sorts of different backgrounds underneath one roof.
It's art, it's technology.
A snapshot of our community.
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel, and we're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. We're We're going to end the show tonight on a up note, I think, because we're going to have a dog on the set, and that always makes me happy. So here, first of all, I'd like to introduce you to Heath. Hello, Heath. How you doing? Look how regal he is.
Just fine.
And Donna Fuller, you are the one raising Heath, correct?
I'm raising him. I'm a puppy starter for Coffee Creek Correctional Facility, which is a medium security prison here in Wilsonville, Oregon.
Is it for women?
It's for women only,
Correct.
yes.
Okay. And Zoe Crines, you are the president of the Cascade chapter for Canine Companions for Independence.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to talk about here tonight is Canine Companions for Independence. I've seen some of the videos and I've read some, and it just sounds like an organization that makes you feel good to be part of.
Definitely.
Am I right? Tell me a little
Yes.
bit about the history, if you could, Zoe.
Canine Companions was started in 1975. I don't know a whole lot of the whole beginning of the history. When I became involved, it was in 1999. My daughter was looking for an organization to work on her Silver Award for Girl Scouts, and we happened to come across, raising a service dog. And so we looked into it, and turned out that as long as a child has a parent who can help out, you can have children volunteers.
Wow. So she did that?
It's a volunteer program. We provide, Canine Companions for Independence provides service dogs for persons with mobility or hearing or facility. Facility dog meaning like working at an agency in order to provide service or kind of care for the people who are, within that agency.
Wow. So you have all sorts of groups. I mean, kids, right? Children, adults, seniors, and all sorts of disabilities represented.
We serve any kind of disability other than vision impairment. So it can be a child with special needs, somebody with a hearing deficit, or like Zoe referred to, a facility where the clientele might benefit from interaction with the dog.
Now, you in particular, you said you're training dogs to work with prisoners. Is that right?
Well, actually, our program is actually a training program inside the prisons. So we have a group of
prisoners are doing the training.
Right. We have a group of 11 inmates that are actually trained by one of our contract trainers that is hired from CCI, and she goes into the prison and trains the women to train the dogs with about 36 commands that they are using. The dogs live with the inmates on a regular basis, 24/7.
That makes a huge difference in their lives.
It does.
Right.
And we currently have 14 dogs in the facility right now.
Does that allow them? Do they learn enough that they could possibly use that when they get
Absolutely.
out for skills?
A lot of the inmates would go into a dog-related field because of the experience that they had, and it's a way for them to give back for something that that is very hard to repay.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't see a downside to that.
There isn't.
Right. Exactly. You sound like you really love your job.
I do.
That's great. So
I do.
And so what else? Oh, also, I understand you do some work with animals for veterans, for dogs for veterans, right?
We do have the Wounded Veterans Initiative, and we're able to pair up a veteran with a CCI dog, and it is about mobility, stability, a person who has, a veteran who has possibly lost an arm or a leg.
Right. You provided me a video, and I mean, actually, I watched several videos.
Oh,
and
great.
It's so heartwarming. I just about lost it sitting in my office looking at them. But you did provide a video, and I pulled out a section about, and it was about the veterans, and I'd like to take a look at that so people can kind of get an idea of how many things these dogs can do and how special the relationships are. So let's see if we can take a look at that now.
Okay.
Wounded Veterans Initiative provides highly trained assistance dogs at no cost to the veterans with physical disabilities.
My name is Jeffrey Adams. This is my service dog, Sharif, my canine companion. Stay. Release. I was in the military for 7.5 years with the United States Army. I was wounded in Baghdad in November 07 of 04 and lost my leg to a roadside bomb detonated 10 feet from me. And when I'm outside with Sharif or moving around town or getting on an airplane, people don't notice the leg. It's kind of funny. They just see the dog, and they just want to run up and pet him.
She is a big social bridge. People will come up, talk to me, say, oh, what a gorgeous dog, yada, yada. And before you know it, they're sitting down, they're at my eye level, and they're actually conversing with me besides something about me having a disability.
I had no idea a dog could be trained to do so many tasks, and it was surprising to see her just knock off each one that I asked her to do.
To me, they're the cream of the crop. There's not another group that can touch them in producing superior working dogs.
We have 30 years of genetic code in our dogs to really breed for this temperament, this intelligence, this focus, and a work ethic.
This is her third time doing this, so it's very, very new for her. Start out nice and easy. Good. Good girl. Tug. Yay! There we go. And she gives a little yank, and we have a party. Oh, nice job.
Before I had Maya, I realized that my life just included so much paying attention. And having been born deaf, I developed a lot of strategies for getting along with that. And at the time, it didn't feel like a big deal. But when I compared then and now, I realized that I'm spending so much less time and so much less effort on paying attention. And instead, I'm able to focus on talking with people, on reading, doing my homework, whatever I have to do, instead of trying to overcompensate by attending to everything in the environment. And now I can put some of the responsibility on her. And it's a pretty profound thing for me, especially to have this really beautiful animal that I trust, and in turn trust me. So it's a really nice relationship that we have.
Still choking. I love that. And this is a dog just like Heath here, right?
Right.
Let's take a look at Heath here. Look at what a sweetheart.
Good boy.
I know. He's so calm, and he's just very good, mellow, and he's a doll. So Heath will be used in the prison system then, right?
Right. He's already he's already in Coffee Creek being trained there, and what's very admirable for the inmates, the job that they do is at 18 months they give these dogs up, and then we take them down. We take them down to Santa Rosa, California, where they enter advanced training, and they're in advanced training for about 6 months before they're finally matched with their final recipient. Wow. And that is all done at no cost to the recipient.
That's wonderful. You know, one of the things that really struck me from that video is that the part about they got down on my level and they talked to me, and it was like as if their disability wasn't there anymore. Right. You know, and also the the quality of life has improved so much for the
especially
people that have
for children who are in a wheelchair, and other kids are just not very comfortable with that. And so when they have a dog with them, children will come around.
So
so the child is able to socialize.
Kids are afraid sometimes of the wheelchair or of a disability, because they don't understand.
And so this, this opens up so many worlds for the children coming to the wheelchair, person, or to the person who is, with a disability.
Obviously, this has to cost a lot to train a dog like this. How are you funded for this training?
It's all volunteer donations.
Wow.
So we receive a lot of donations.
I know, you have a lot to say.
We also have a fundraiser that goes on once a year. We call it the Dog Fest. We have one coming up in Portland, September 13th.
September 13th, okay, and that's a Saturday or Sunday?
That's a Sunday.
Sunday, yes,
That's a Sunday.
Okay. And we should have the information, we'll put it up on the screen about that. So do you have to, can anybody participate in this? Do you have to have a dog? What's the deal?
Yeah, it's anybody can participate. It's a family and dog-friendly environment. It takes place 9 to 12. We are putting on or the Lions Club of Lake Oswego are putting on a pancake breakfast.
That's always good before you go for the walk, huh?
And we'll have dog-related activities. There'll be face painting, there'll be some music, and then there'll be a little walk in which people can go to like little booths and find out more about CCI and the graduates and just everything.
And that's going to be in, is it West? No, is it West?
It's in Lake Oswego at Millennium Park Plaza.
Okay.
Yes.
It's right downtown in Lake Oswego.
Do you go every year?
This is our second annual.
Oh, it's the second one.
Yeah,
okay.
This is the second one we're putting on.
Wonderful. That sounds like fun. What else do people need to know about CCI that they don't know before we run out of time? If people are interested in volunteering, you have obviously it's a volunteer-run organization.
We're always looking for puppy raisers. It's if you're interested, go to cci.org. It's really easy to remember. There's a very easy way to fill out an application there to be a puppy raiser.
Okay.
If you we're really easy to get a hold of. The Cascade chapter has its own website. If you just Google Cascade chapter CCI, you'll get onto our website. So we always have volunteer opportunities.
We need puppy sitters, people who don't want to get, raise a dog, or are unable to raise a dog. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
But that they can help
something maybe
relieve.
it takes a little less commitment, but still
Right.
helps out. And I imagine there's other things that they can do too, huh?
And we also have our prison program has an Amazon wish list because their program is solely funded by donations also, and it costs a lot to house the dogs there and feed them and care for their needs. And so we have an Amazon wish list that's really easy to find.
So it's not just financial donations, there are in-kind donations too?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Nice. Okay. Well, then if people are interested, they can go to the website, they can check it out. But if they just want to maybe get a flavor for what CCI is about, go to the Dogfest Walk and Roll.
Exactly.
That sounds like fun.
Exactly.
Good. Anything else, any last words, things we should know about CCI before we
CCI is a nationwide program. We have 6 centers. So we have, the headquarters are in Santa Rosa. There's also a center down in Oceanside, California, and then also in Ohio and Florida and New York.
And where was it started?
It was started, I believe, in out here in California.
Wow. So how long have you been involved with it?
Since 2005.
2005. So you've both been with it for quite a while. What's the best thing you've gotten out of it personally?
For me, many people ask, how can you give up a dog? And my answer is, I don't give up a dog, I gain a family.
Do you keep in touch with the people?
Yes. The dog that I just recently gave up, she graduated and now she works for a 16-year-old teenage girl who has muscular dystrophy and has just opened up her independence in her life.
I imagine
it gives me chills.
I know, it's going to make me cry. It would be so rewarding, I think, to be able to know that you played such a part in making somebody's life so much better. Yeah.
The difference between them being able to live independently or not. The difference between a child having friends or not.
Oh, and that's heartbreaking, because and that happens.
Right.
It's very important.
Can you think of one experience that really touched you?
I had my first graduate was with a young girl, and she was having a very difficult time growing up, and her mother was wondering whether or not a dog would be just, a pet and another stressor in her life. Right. And when they got their dog Lath, her daughter all of a sudden had friends and was becoming very social, and her mom said, I can't imagine not having this puppy. So
as a mom,
it's a big difference.
It's a really awful thought that your kids might not have friends. That's
exactly.
I mean, it really is. That's a really huge deal, and wow, how wonderful is that? And if there's somebody in a situation where they think they might be a candidate to receive a dog, that also on the website also.
Go to the website.
Yeah, wonderful.
It's a very easy application program.
Right. So. Make it so easy. That's great.
We like
to. So much. And thanks to all your wonderful volunteers that do this. I mean, it takes a lot of themselves to be able to do that.
Does.
And,
it does.
But to make a huge
Can't
difference.
imagine not doing it.
Right. Yeah, I bet. Once you get in there, you're not going to get out.
You're hooked.
I love it. Right. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight, and thank you, my viewers here, for watching. And I hope you learned something about this wonderful organization, Cascade Companions Canine Companions for Independence. They need your support. They need volunteers. So do check it out. And if you just want some more information, go to the Dogfest Walk and Roll, and we'll have the information on the screen. Thanks for watching Community Hotline. We'll see you here next week.
shoot my documentary was more than I ever would have dreamed of doing.
This is a community media station.
It was phenomenal.
Ready, camera one.
What is it about this place that makes so many different people come together?
Ready, camera two.
Very professional, experienced people. You can use these industry standard pieces of equipment.
Ready, camera three. Take three.
You don't have to be rich to do this.
Open people's eyes to something they've never even thought of before.
Cool stuff happens. It becomes this community.
That's going to really change who's telling the stories and who's controlling the messaging.
We love Gresham and we love fun, so we're putting the two together for the 93 days of summer. Experience our trails, parks, and places to ride bikes. Every day starting June 21st, we'll be posting all of the fun and exciting things to do in Gresham to our Facebook page. Delight in our farmers market. Enjoy our outdoor music and community events. Go ahead and grab your sunscreen and get ready to spend the 93 days of summer in Gresham. Follow us on Facebook for our daily summer fun forecast.